Okay, I'm going to update everybody here on the bankruptcy sale, and I am assuming that this is settled. It has to be approved by the court, and there's a deadline of the end of this month on this, but I'm pretty sure this is a done deal. I think everybody probably already knows this. Steve Burns, the CEO, original CEO, who stepped down 2 years ago from Lordstown Motors, has it looks like is the stock. I don't know if he's the stalking horse, but he is the one who has come into the bankruptcy settlement for Lordstown Motors, and Last Capital, which he's a majority owner, is going to buy all Lordstown's intellectual property, business records, and machinery, including assembly lines for EV motors and batteries. Now, this is dated October 18th, and this is the most recent headline I can find. One thing I'm curious about is part of Lordstown's holdings, Lordstown Motors holdings, was they withheld 90 acres of land at the Lordstown plant site, and Lordstown Motors owned that. I don't know if that was sold as part of this deal, if it was liquidated to Foxconn or some other party. Be interesting to me if they also had that 90 acres included in this deal, but as you can see, all the intellect, Steve Burns has got his company back. I am personally think this is a great development, and I'll tell you, it was a long road to hoe, and there was a lot of pain and sorrow in between, but I am glad Steve Burns is back in control of this technology, and I think he is the one to really bring it to market. But in any case, this is the most recent. This is October 18th. And again, the other, I'm going to cite a couple other articles here real quickly. They say it has to be approved by the bankruptcy court, and that there is a deadline of closing it by the end of this month. They've put, has put $1 million down on the $10 million price, and it's in escrow. So I do believe this will go through. I don't have any final word, although there may be final word that I'm not aware of. I just would like to add that this intellectual property and the machinery lines for the motors and the batteries, now they did not mention the stamping dies and other things which may or may not be included here. It doesn't, I don't know, this is very nebulous, but the point is the development of this technology is, we're looking at $500 million in my estimation, and it is a fully operational electric drive system, and it's been certified and homologated for use in vehicles for $10 million. That is what is that? My goodness, what is that, 2% of the cost? What a deal. Anyway, Steve Burns, I think he's probably the one that knows the value of this technology most, and he has really made quite a deal here. And I, for one, am overjoyed that it has come back to him. And let me just move on here. This is MXUX to a couple other quick. All right, this is from October 24, which is the day of this recording. And again, this is from the local paper, the Tribune Chronicle. And Steve Burns purchases Lordstown Motors. Investment firm run by the company's founder and ex-CEO agreement to acquire specific assets of the electrical vehicle startup. Don't know what those are. We'll research that possibly later. Last Capital, majority holder is Steve Burns. We're going to go over that. 10 million design assets related to the design, production, and sale of electric light-duty vehicles in the commercial fleet market. So, purchase agreement for assets related to design, production, and sale of electric light-duty vehicles. That is the whole kit and caboodle, it sounds like there. And they talk about a deposit. Now, they say the agreement must be approved in U.S. bankruptcy court. A sale hearing is set for October 18th. So that is prior to this day. Well, this is September 30. So I think we've got a close on that. And this is WKBN, Channel 27. This is the local news outlet to Lordstown. There's the Lordstown Motors flag. This is posted September 29. Buys company assets, agreed to purchase company assets for $10 million. Last Capital will be buying Lordstown Motors. Includes the design, production, and sale of electric light-duty vehicles. The agreement can be terminated if the deal is not closed by October 31st. So, and this was posted September 29. So, we've got a couple hurdles there. I do believe that this is close to being finalized, or that it will be finalized. I can't find any news of problems, but this is what has happened to Lordstown Motors, and it looks like the single best person that could possibly own these assets has gotten them. Unfortunately, many of the shareholders, including Steve Burns, I would add, in the Lordstown Motors ride journey, suffered losses. And I just want to say, I've done several videos on this. This had nothing to do with the invisible hand of the market, all that BS, whatever. Adam Smith, yeah, right, invisible hand of the market. This had nothing to do with mismanagement. Both sets of executive suites managed this company and their assets very carefully. You got to realize they filed bankruptcy with $200 million in cash on hand. This was not a mismanaged company. I'm just going to make my point here, and you can review my other videos on this. I do believe this is the demise of Lordstown Motors was in direct relation, and the timing of events that led to the downfall of the stock price and so forth was timed to Donald Trump's announcement for a run for presidency. This is not a political channel, but this had this succeeded Lordstown, and it was, I'm not going to go through it. I do believe it was and still can succeed. BlackRock, closely aligned with the Biden administration, crashed the stock price. Terry Gao, running for president of Taiwan, was, he is aligned with mainland China. And we're going to go over, by the way, Foxconn is in some trouble now. And of course, I believe he got his marching orders from mainland China. And they told him, we do not want Trump to be the president. We have the Hindenburg people who were under, it looks like, based on the activities of Hindenburg in India, were backed by an arch enemy of Trump. And I do believe that the attacks on both Lordstown by Hindenburg and also Carl Icahn, who was most likely the white light that would have come in to Lordstown under Niavaji, was also attacked by Hindenburg. So I do believe there was a concerted effort and that this was a political act. Anyway, let's just say it's over. I think we all learned from that. I tried to represent everything as accurately as I could on that, and we're moving forward to a new era here. But I did want to cover this development with Lordstown Motors, and this really was a surprise to see this purchase. And let's just move on and take a look at the new company that Steve Burns is associated with now. This is Last Capital, and this is Steve Burns is the majority holder in this group. And we can go through some of these, but let's just take a look at this company. It's very interesting. I think Steve Burns is going to apply electricity to a lot of different items here, and let's just take a look. This is Steve Burns. I'm not going to play this video now. It's going to take too much time, but you know, Steve Burns is a serial entrepreneur. Many people don't know this. Steve Burns was intricately involved in the development of Siri, which is on all of your iPhones, before it was with Apple. And he has as much experience as Elon Musk has in developing electric vehicles. Now, I just want to go over this. He's got a 3-wheel vehicle here that's under his umbrella with LAS here. Aptera is using hub motors on their 3-wheel vehicle. There's no doubt in my mind that this 3-wheel vehicle will also use hub motors. It may be a different configuration than Aptera, but certainly a competitor. And I made a long time ago, I said Aptera should be talking to Lordstown about getting together for production. This is an individual electric aircraft that is also part of their product portfolio here. The initial one of these was a Steve Burns project back in the day. You look at my Lordstown Motors catalog, and you can find a video on this. Steve Burns invented a hub motor powered individual aircraft. Cool. This is right before he went over to start Lordstown Motors. And the thing about this craft was it had autopilot in it, you know, self-driving, and it was a commuter car. And the great thing about it had an enclosed cab, and the motors were all on arms, which you could fold down, and you could push the whole thing in a normal garage or a normal parking space. And that product ended up being sidelined and sold to a defense contractor, and the plans were to have it be used as a supply vehicle to supply troops on the front line and automated with ammunition and supplies. But this is nothing new for Steve Burns. By the way, the vehicle that, and he was flying it tethered, looking for FAA and so forth, permission to fly it. This is much less sophisticated, but certainly nothing that is strange to Steve Burns. The boat, again, I think this is a market that is rife. It's wide open, and whether they could employ hub motors, I'm of the opinion they probably could employ hub motors in this boat. Whether they would want to or not, we don't know. Certainly, this could use hub motors, and this is using a type of brushless hub motor. We don't know if the Lordstown. Now, we can add to this the Endurance light electric fleet vehicle. Should Steve Burns decide to move ahead with that, we have hard dies, which would be about 190 million. But everything else is owned by Last Capital, and that has all been homologated and certified and crash tested. It's got a 4-star all the way around crash test rating. I mean, and I still want to do a review. I have in contact with someone who purchased and got delivery of an Endurance. It is a sleeper. It is a sports car with a pickup truck body on it. The performance is astounding, as I understand it, and look forward to that. I look forward to doing that in the future. Again, now this is just on the 3-wheel vehicle, and they have an open cockpit on this. Not as sophisticated or certainly a different design than the Aptera. Again, this is the flying vehicle here. This is the boat. Again, this has solar panels on the top that pull out. And this is a battery-powered vehicle, and there are other firms working on this, but I think that Lordstown, having gone through the development, engineering, R&D, and development of the Endurance and attaining all of that IP regarding electric drive systems and batteries and so forth, they are just going to be in a great position in this company to apply all that technology. And Steve Burns mentions in his presentation here also automotive production techniques to these products. This is a shower head, and I'll just tell you real briefly, I was wondering why would, and this is of course, an energy saving device to save on hot water and so forth. But this looks kind of kooky. But you know what? Let me explain it to you in 10 seconds. It's voice activated. You walk in the bathroom, you say, "I want to take a shower." It will turn the shower head on. You already have the water adjusted to the heat level you want, and it will run the shower till the water warms up, and then it will pause it. And then when you get in the shower, it will recognize that you're in the shower and turn the shower on. And when you step back from the shower, okay, to wash your hair or whatever, it will shut the water off. And then when you step back under the shower head, it'll turn the water on. And when you step out of the shower, it will automatically turn the shower off. So this could be quite an water saver and an energy saver, and a really clever, unique product, I think, could sell. Anyway, this is the website. Steve Burns does have 20 years, more than that, in the EV space. A lot of experience, and you can apply for a email update here. But I don't think we can count Steve Burns out. I am a Steve Burns fan. Tesla did it. Tesla Motors under Elon Musk did it. But, Elon Musk stood on the shoulders of a lot of other people that, the Tesla was already in production when Elon Musk took over. Steve Burns developed his vehicle, the Endurance, from scratch. And I think it was quite an accomplishment. And I do think that Machiavellian political operatives are what stopped that effort. But I do think there's a bright future for the electric fleet market. And I'm just going to end this with a little section on another type of electric vehicle that I think Steve Burns is in a position to capitalize on. Before I move on to that product idea I have for Mr. Burns, Foxconn, Apple's manufacturer in China, is said to be under tax audit. Let me tell you, Steve Burns may end up buying, Last Capital may end up buying that Lordstown Motors plant or part of it. The way things are going for Foxconn, people are not giving this the weight I think it should have. It's under a tax audit. We all know what happened to the tech executives and how they've been disappeared in China. I think this is nothing but bad news for Foxconn. I think this is related to Terry Gao running for president of Taiwan. And not to get too deep into it, but Terry Gao, and I have covered this in my other videos, initially made a statement that he wanted to settle the independence of Taiwan, have it become more or less part of China through diplomatic negotiations and so forth. And that is China's goal as well. And Terry Gao is very aligned with China on that. And then when Terry Gao received pushback on that from the voting constituency in Taiwan, he walked that statement back and said, no, he's for, and I do believe this investigation is retribution for him walking that back. And as I said, I think that Foxconn may be at some point maybe putting that plant in Ohio on sale. Mr. Burns may end up with that as well. Just going to end this with a niche that I think Lordstown Motors could approach, that being a small pickup truck, electric pickup truck with hub motors, a shrinking of the endurance. This gentleman here, why can't we have small trucks anymore? Blame the EPA. All cars withdrawn. This is on my watch list. Everything you always want to know about Lordstown Motors, go to my channel. You can find this video. He explains why there are no small pickup trucks. And, you know, every pickup truck now is a giant pickup truck. Have you noticed this? There are no more small pickup trucks. And this is an explanation why there are these small pickup trucks. And let me just set this up.
So let's take as an example here a 1984 Toyota truck, and we'll do the long wheelbase version. So this is the better situation. 112 inches long, 53.3 inches track, gives us a footprint of 41.53. Well, if we plot it here, you can see how much better gas mileage a smaller truck would need to actually get. So if you want one of those small trucks that's a little bit tighter in dimensions and a little bit narrower, your fuel economy jumps up so high it's almost unattainable with an ICE engine, even maybe with a hybrid. So we might see a return of small trucks with EVs because they don't have to meet these standards. That's why we don't, you can stop the video here if you want to, because that's why we don't have small trucks anymore, because they have to be big to follow that curve down and get the gas mileage to where the automaker can actually achieve the gas mileage, or at least be reasonable enough to pay a penalty for it.
Okay, that was just an explanation. The EPA has put these demands, mileage demands on. I think the goal of the EPA here is to keep the big three automakers from making a small truck with super high mileage so that they can make big trucks at will. In any case, the way the EPA is set up right now, the regulations for these small trucks, that's why there are no small trucks. They cannot meet the 50 plus miles of MPG demanded by this new formula from the EPA. And certainly, I think a well-engineered hub motor drive small pickup truck could